Hello, today we shall see the machines for fine cleaning and de-dusting that come under zone 5. So before that there was this zone 4 which was intermediate cleaning, and this particular zone 4 is no longer required due to the modern high performance blow room lines that we have just seen. And since these blow room lines which are high performance are capable of removing a high percentage of trash in zone 2 itself, the zone 4 is no longer required. The machines that would be installed in zone 4 and zone 5, that is for intermediate and fine cleaning, must produce new surfaces, that is opening must be carried out before any kind of cleaning to happen. So therefore these machines operate with clamped feeding or with feed in free flight. The spacing of the striker elements on the rollers is lesser than that on the machines in zone 2. So if you look at the machines that come under zone 2 like step cleaner, AxiFlow or UniClean, then the striker elements or the blades that are there on the rollers that have the function of beating the material, the spacing between the striker elements will be more as compared to the spacing of the striker elements that are there on the rollers that one might find in this particular zone, that is zone 4 or zone 5. And this is done so that more amount of surfaces are created by better opening, because at this stage now we have reached a stage where without further opening further cleaning cannot take place. So bladed or spiked beaters were installed in this zone in the conventional blow room line. So in the conventional blow room line, where the performance of the other machines in other zones like zone 1 or zone 2 was not very effective, in those cases the zone 4 was very much there, and in that zone particularly one would find bladed or spiked beaters like Kirschner beater. But with modern high performance blow room lines, this particular zone has been eliminated and there would be no machine in this particular zone. So we come directly to zone 5, which is fine cleaning. In the conventional installations, one would find a Kirschner beater and a scutcher in this particular zone. And in the modern installations, we find sawtooth rollers are used for fine cleaning. So this kind of an intensive cleaning is needed due to the reduction in the size of the trash particles. This kind of intensive cleaning has become a requirement today in case of blue room lines, because the size of the trash particles has reduced drastically and the cotton is more contaminated as compared to before, which one of the reasons for this may be because of mechanical picking that is happening. Since we are using machines for picking, the machine is not able to identify between the cotton and the other trash particles that it is picking up, and so it will be highly contaminated due to these reasons. So usually the machines in the zone are universal machines that can be fitted with different numbers and or type of opening rollers. Machines from different manufacturers exhibit many similarities. So if you look at the machines that are available by or rather offered by different manufacturers, they exhibit a lot of similarities, and these machines are so versatile that they can be fitted with different kinds of rollers and or more number of beaters or opening rollers if required. So with this, let us look at the first model by which is B60 by Uniflex, which is a fine cleaner offered by Ritter. Here in this case, fan 6 is seen over here. That is this particular outlet over here. This is a suction which will try to draw the material, that is the tufts, into the machine through the filling chute 1. So it is the material will try to come in because of this suction that is applied here. The material will be drawn inside and it will go through this filling chute 1 from the previous machine. The wall of the chute, this particular transport duct or chute that is there, it has got slots which allows for air to escape, and also along with the air dust is also removed. So this would be the first de-dusting stage in case of Uniflex. So a very homogeneous sheet lengthwise as well as widthwise is formed, and the chute depth, that is the thickness of this chute, that can be adjusted, and that will actually determine the sheet weight, and this can be adjusted as per the production levels or the type of fiber that is being processed. So the material is carried further by the perforated drum 2, which is shown here, and a plain drum which is shown here. This would be a second de-dusting stage, because the perforated drum would also have some kind of suction within it, where again the second time the dust is being extracted. The feed trough that is seen over here, that is 3, feeds the lap sheet to the cylinder 5. This is the roller with where we can see the saw-toothed roller that is there. Only half is seen over here, although it is completely clothed with this particular sawtooth. And there is a grid 4 which is below it, which will remove the whatever trash that is being released, and that is made up of carding segments and knives. So basically the grid will be consisting of carding segments and knives that will be helpful in extracting the impurities. So let us look at the special features of Uniflex. The distance between the feed trough and the opening roller is adjustable as per the material being processed. So whatever material is being processed, one can always have an adjustment over here of the feed trough or other the feeding element from that of the opening roller. So by doing this, we can change the aggressiveness of the opening. So there is another feature here which is known as a vario set. It is a feature on the reater machines that allows for easy alterations in the machine without any stoppages. So the speed of the opening roller, the setting of the knives on the grid can all be adjusted according to the material being processed. And that too, it can be done electronically without any mechanical intervention. That means there is no need for any stoppages, and electronically this all these adjustments can be handled. So one can optimize the waste extraction levels without really having to stop the machine or any kind of mechanical intervention here. So this is the advantage of having a vario set. The opening cylinder is available in different versions for the processing of variety of materials. So this particular opening cylinder that we saw, that can be replaced with many other different versions. That can depend on the material that we're processing, and one can change the spacing, the speed, as well as the spikes on the rollers. All these different rollers are available. So next we look at the Clinomat system or the fine cleaners that are offered by Trutzler. So Clinomat systems are available in a variety of versions with 1, 3, 4 rollers for processing different materials. A conveyor belt feeds the material into the feed roller pair that is forwarded to the first roller, each roller rotating in the clockwise and anti-clockwise directions. So there are two versions of these machines which are shown here. There's one more version where there will be 4 rollers. It will be similar to this. So let us see how this works. So there is one roller that is saw-toothed roller that is seen over here. There's a conveyor belt which feeds the material using these two rollers. That is a feed system, clamped feed, and this particular roller will take in the material. But one can see over here, instead of the grid, there are knives, and this circular thing that we see, that's a suction that is applied just around the knife area, where as soon as the material is scraped and trash particles are released, it is immediately taken over by suction and eliminated from the machine, so that there is no danger of remixing back into the material. So for the first roller, as one can see, there is two kind of mote knives and suction arrangement that is given over here. And one must also observe that the rotation of the roller is downwards, or it is in the anti-clockwise direction here. There is one sort of, one can say there's a support over here by allowing air to enter here, where it will help in removing the material that is stuck over on this particular roller and help the material to go towards the exit. So in a similar way, if this is Clinomat CLC1, then there is another version which is CLC3, where there are 3 rollers instead of 1, and this would be used for a slightly trashier material, or if a more amount of opening may be required in any kind of material. So this 3 rollers would be used. And in this case, again, the first roller is similar as the case as the case of CLC1, but as soon as you look at the other 2 rollers over here, one can see that the material goes below the first roller and then above the second and again below the third, and so the rotation is accordingly, it is first anti-clockwise, then clockwise, and again anti-clockwise. So also the position of the knife and the suction, we can see for the first roller, it is 2 are given at the bottom, whereas for the second roller and the third roller, a single mote knife and a suction is um, uh, installed over here. For the second roller, it is at the top, and for the third roller, it is somewhere at the bottom. So in this manner, the material will flow from below the first roller, above the second, and below the third, and it will pass through the exit to the next machine. And again, here also one can see it is supported by air current, which is allowed to enter the machine via this route, and which will support or rather remove the material that might get stuck on this particular rollers. So with this, there is one more version which is CLC4. Only difference would be there would be one more roller over here. So let us see, the cleaning device here is not a grid, as one can observe. It's not a grid system. It is a moat knife or knives, which is a part of the suction tube that immediately eliminates the trash particles that we've just seen. Immediately the suction would remove the trash particles from that area. The opened and clean material is removed out of the machine by suction. The speed of the roller as well as the number of wire points on the rollers goes on increasing from the first to the last. Suppose there is only one roller, then it is like, one kind of, little bit opening is required, little cleaning is required. So only one roller is enough. But if there is some kind of more trashy material is there, then in that case one would require more number of rollers. In that case, the number of wire points on the rollers as well as the speeds will go on increasing from first to the second to the last. That means the spikes go on becoming finer and finer, and they also become more closely spaced. So if it's a sawtooth, the sawtooth will become finer as you go from the first roller to the last. So now with this, let us come to the dust, which is another problem in textile processing. So let us first understand what is dust. So dust is defined as consisting of small and microscopic particles of various substances which are suspended particles in gases and sink only slowly, and therefore cannot be transported in air and therefore can be transported in air over substantial distances. That means the dust is so fine and they remain suspended in the air and do not sink very easily or do not fall to the ground, and therefore they can be transported by air over substantial distances. That means they can travel a large distance. Dust is classified as follows by International Committee for Cotton Testing Methods, ITMF. Trash particle size above 500 micrometer is termed as trash. Between 50 and 500 is termed as dust. 15 to 50 is termed as microdust, and below 15 micrometer is called as breathable dust. So the dust that we need to remove, we have to classify them and see what kind of dust textile has got and how to remove it. A paper published by International Textile Bulletin indicates that the microdust consists of 50 to 80% fiber fragments, leaf and husk fragments, 10 to 25 of sand and earth, and 10 to 25 of water soluble materials. So one thing to observe here is that a high proportion of fiber fragments indicate that a large part of microdust arises during processing. So if there is a large part of dust that consists of fiber fragments, it means that it is very clear that during processing these were generated, and therefore these are fiber fragments, and that's why they need to be eliminated in a particular manner, or let us see in the coming slides how they are removed. So another researcher, Mandel, suggests that 40% of the microdust is free between the fibers and the flocks, 20 to 30 is loosely bound, and remaining 20 to 30 is firmly bound to the fibers. So by looking at this figures also, we can make out that microdust which is 40% free or which are loosely bound is more slightly easier to remove, whereas even after the suction or the removal of this kind of these two types of dust, still there will be some dust which will be firmly bound to the fibers, and these can only be removed by friction. So if there's a lot of friction between fiber and between fiber and the machine parts, only then this particular 10 to 20 to 30% which would still remain later on would can be removed. So with this background, let us see what kind of problems are really created by dust and why we are so keen on removing it. First reason is additional stress on the personnel. That means on the people working in the in such an environment where there is a lot of dust, it is very unpleasant to the eyes and the nose. It might also induce allergies along with some respiratory diseases. So then there are environmental problems, that is dust deposits will be there. There will be accumulations on the machine parts that will accumulate at once and fall into the machine. It can also contaminate the air conditioning system. Then there are effects both direct as well as indirect on the quality of the product. So there is a direct deterioration in the quality, for example increased yarn unevenness. Also there might be indirect deterioration due to the machines, where indirectly it affects the machine and the machine then indirectly affects the quality of the material. So there is also a possibility of stress on the machines, that is dust accumulation leading to operating disturbances, jamming and running out of true, more end breakages, maybe leading to lower production, as well as rapid wear of the machine components, which is more serious in case of rotor spinning. So once we know that it creates a lot of problems, we should be very keen on removing them. So let us see what are the various methods that can be employed for removing this kind of dust. So removal of the dust is therefore important not only in terms of quality, but also because the maintenance of a dust-free atmosphere in the working room is of still greater significance. So not only from the point of view of quality of the final product, but also from the point of view of health of the workers and the work environment that is there, dust removal is very important. Some countries have even laws over there on the maximum permissible quantities of dust in the air. So removal of dust is possible by the following arrangements. Release the dust into the air, that is by turning the material over and over. Then whatever dust gets released, they are just thrown into the air, and then the dust contaminated air is removed. Release of dust in air takes place when the raw material is rolled or beaten or thrown about. So there is another method of removing, that is separating the particles directly from the fibers through suction or scraping. So when scraping action is happening, whatever dust particles are released, that is immediately taken out by suction. So care must be taken that the fibers are not carried along in this case. So if there we are applying a suction, one must take care that fibers also are not sucked in through the perforations or slots that are provided for the removal of dust particles. So therefore, a fiber retaining device is always a requirement in such places where suction is going to be used for the separation of dust. So with this, let us see what are the suitable stages for removal of dust. Suitable stages for dust removal would be when the material is transported by air, since dust is naturally released during transportation, and ideally this happens at the end of the duct when the fibers are separated from the air transport. So whenever the material reaches the end of the duct, this is the place where air would be ideally separated from the material before it enters the next machine. So at that area, if one applies a sort of suction, or at this stage something is done, in that case that would be an ideal place where maximum dust can be removed. The following devices may be used for dust removal. One is pneumatic transport. Then one can have perforated drums, that is following a carding roller, something like that, and this can extract about 50% of the dust in the stock. Then one can even have a device like non-rotating perforated surfaces, which one can see in Ritter as well as Stutzler. Then one can have circulating perforated belts or even stationary combs. So all these kinds of devices can be utilized for the removal of dust. So dust removal during pneumatic transport, this is a very natural kind of method to remove the dust, because during transportation lot of dust is released, and that would be an ideal place to remove the dust. So Ritter has come up with a dust extractor. A dust extractor forms a part of the pneumatic transport system. So when the material is transported from one machine to the other, so in those ducts, a chamber is created, and a chamber in a ducting consists of a converging pipe with perforations. So one can see over here, as the material is being transported from one machine to the other, say from left to right, from 1 to 2 here, which is shown, the material is passing through this particular chamber, and this chamber, as one can see, it has got perforations over here, and air is sucked through it, through the material. Along with that, what we see here is dust is being carried away at this place, which is marked as 3. So as the material passes from left to right, a special fan draws air at 3. So at 3 there is a suction or a fan that will draw the dust from the transport duct. Since the fiber tufts are vigorously agitated by the air currents, since the material is actually getting transported due to air, so there's a lot of agitation at this place. And also because of the converging shape of the duct, one can see the shape of the duct is converging. There is a good separation of small dust particles and are ultimately removed by air suction. So this would be one of the ideal places, that is transport ducts. At various places this kind of chamber could be installed, which would be very helpful in removing a lot of dust. So another method that can be used for removing dust is having a dedusting machine. So one machine is offered known as Dustix by Tutzler. So Dustix mainly consists of a large chamber with perforated sheet, that is 3, which is shown over here. So one can see this is a perforated sheet which is in the form of a funnel here, and the material enters the machine through 1 and 2. So there's a fan here which will suck the material inside from the previous machine, and it will enter the machine via this entry over here at 2, and a material is shown here which will roll over this perforated sheet, go downwards, and then from it will be exiting from this particular space over here which is shown. It'll go out. So this is how the material flow is happening, which is the exit is marked as 4 over here. So let us see, the feed material enters the machine through 1 and 2 while the material exits at 4. It will exit from here. In the chamber, the material tufts are blown against the perforated sheet. So whatever material enters here is blown against this perforated sheet, which is marked as 3. The fibers slide on the sheet down to the tip of the funnel. The material is seen here sliding down right up to the tip, and then pass to the suction after dust is extracted. So after dust is extracted here at the perforated sheets over here, behind this there's a suction which is applied, which can be seen over here. The air that is sucked out will also carry the dust along with it. So after this suction is done, the material is simply made to exit. The special conical shape of the machine allows the maximum opportunities for the extraction of dust. This machine is installed at the end of the blow room line where the fibers are thoroughly opened. So this machine would be more effective when the fibers are in the form of small tufts, and this would happen only at the end of the blow room line. So therefore this kind of an installation one would find at the end, and the smaller fibers or flocks easily release the dust when they roll over the perforated sheets, and the dust is extracted from all the surfaces of the flocks. So the shape of the particular machine here, which is conical, allows for rolling of the fibers on the perforated sheets as they are passing through the machine. Also the shape of this machine allows all the surfaces to be facing this perforated sheet, so that from all around a particular flock, which is of course small in size, so it is very effective in removing maximum dust at this in this area. One can also see that there is a lot of surface area provided for the extraction of dust. So with this we come to the end of this session of fine cleaning and de-dusting machines. Thank you.